I got a band 9 3 times in IELTS reading, and I always finish before the time is over. If you want to improve your IELTS reading score quickly, this video is for you. I will give you my 10 top tips to score high. By the end of this video, you will understand how to use these tips to boost your score. If you are going to take your IELTS soon, check out my IELTS courses. There, I teach you everything you need to score high. I show you step by step how to give high-scoring answers, and of course we do many practice tests together so you will feel confident for your test. The link is in the description box. And now let's get started. We will begin with an extremely important point. Don't read the whole passage. Remember that each reading passage has sets of focused questions. To answer these questions, you don't need to read and understand every single piece of information in the text. So spending time reading the whole text thoroughly and attempting to understand it all is a waste of your time. You are not going to be able to finish the test if you read every passage. The IELTS reading passages are full of details and more advanced, complex language. A lot of the details are not actually needed for you to answer the questions, as the answers to the questions can often be found in just a short sentence or part of the text. As a result, when you start the test, look at the first question and then the passage. This way, you can try to find the specific section of the passage where that information is mentioned without having to spend time reading through the whole text. When you have found the relevant piece of information, read that part of the passage more carefully. Figure out the correct answer and then go to the next question, repeating the strategy. Next, don't worry if you don't understand every word. Unfamiliar vocabulary is normal. The IELTS reading passages often contain a lot of high-level vocabulary, some of which you might not know or fully understand. This is okay. Try not to panic at the sight of unfamiliar words. Stay calm and have a go at figuring out what the word means by using the other words around it. Also, consider what message the sentence as a whole might be trying to convey. It can also be helpful to think about what type of word it is, which can be understood by its place in the sentence, and sometimes by its prefix or suffix. For instance, when reading a text about water access, I might read the following sentence. Local people developed a new way of gaining access to water during the tough summer months, using it for drinking, washing, giving to their animals, and irrigation. Perhaps I don't know the word irrigation, but I know from the other examples that the sentence refers to different uses of water. So irrigation is a way of using water. I also know that words ending in tion are nouns, often regarding concepts or ideas. Although I might not know exactly what the word means, I can get a general idea from the context and maybe use my own knowledge to imagine what other uses of water there are, like watering plants or cooking perhaps. Tip number 3 is pay attention to the instructions. It might seem like an obvious tip, but it's incredibly important, and actually many IELTS test takers get a low score because they missed something crucial in the instructions. It's super important to ensure that you know what the question is asking you to do and make sure your answers follow the instructions. A common mistake is in true, false, not given and yes, no, not given questions. Often, test takers don't pay attention to which variety of this question type they have given you in the exam. Then they might write true or false when the instructions were, in fact, to write yes or no. Another mistake where test takers often lose marks due to not following the instructions properly is with the fill-the-blank questions. In the instructions, it will specify how many words you have to write, and you must absolutely pay attention to that. A common mistake of many test takers is that they don't pay attention to how many words they are allowed to write, and then their score goes down when they write too many words. Even the small words like a and an still count as words. So if the instructions tell you to write no more than 2 words and in your answer you write a big group, this is wrong. You will not get any points for this. Instead, you need to write big group. Tip number 4 helps when answering true, false, not given questions. Many test takers get confused about not given answers and often write true or false instead. The problem is that they bring their own assumptions and background ideas to the text. For instance, let's say we see a statement that says, cars are extremely expensive in some Western European countries. And in the text it states, in many countries in the west of Europe, the cost of living is skyrocketing, making basic living costs unaffordable. A lot of candidates will answer that the statement is true because they assume that because the cost of living is high, cars will also be expensive. Do not make assumptions about the information based on your own knowledge of the world. This is your own guess about the situation. And while it's most likely to be true in real life, that cars would be more expensive if most other things in that country have a high cost, the text does not actually state this. It is not explicitly mentioned that cars are expensive in Western Europe. So the answer here is not given. Now comes an extremely important point. Be on the lookout for transition words. Transition words are words that indicate a change in topic or opinion. These are important because sometimes the text states one thing, but then adds a new or opposing idea, which is actually the answer to the question. These are designed to distract you and to check whether you actually understand what you are reading. So look out for these and be aware that it could indicate a change. For example, a text might say, low traffic neighborhoods are thought to be a great way to reduce congestion and pollution in a city. There are, nevertheless, countless reasons as to why they are actually not as effective as people believe. If you say that low traffic neighborhoods are effective is true, the answer is wrong because the word nevertheless shows that there is a change in topic. Therefore, it's important that you read the whole idea rather than just one sentence. By the way, if you want more IELTS reading videos, hit the like button and write yes in the comments. If you want something else, tell me your video wish in the comments so I know what you would like to see on this channel. Also, check out my videos where I solve IELTS reading practice tests in real time. You can find the links below. In these videos, I explain how to find the correct answers quickly. Now, let's have a look at 5 more tips that help you score high in IELTS reading. The next tip is particularly helpful with questions that have multiple answers to choose from, like multiple choice or matching headings questions. Cross out incorrect answers. If you are sure that an answer is incorrect, cross it out. This helps narrow down your choices and reduces confusion. Let's take a look at the question. According to the passage, what is the main reason bees are crucial for agriculture? A. They produce honey. B. They pollinate crops. C. They are a food source for other animals. And D. They help control pests. In the text, it could say, farmers rely on bees to transfer pollen between plants, leading to higher crop yields. Even though honey production is a valuable byproduct, it is not the key reason bees are important to farming. Here, the sentence clearly states that honey production is not the key reason that bees are crucial for agriculture. So you can eliminate option A by crossing it out. Let's have a look at the next sentence. If bees disappeared, the biggest impact would be on crop production, not on predator species that feed on them occasionally. Now you know that you can eliminate option C. As you can see, now you only have 2 answers to choose from, which makes your decision easier and more focused on finding information relevant to these 2 statements. Tip number 7 is to look for definitions. It's quite common for the topics of the reading passages to be unfamiliar to you. The people who make the test are checking your reading skills. So they often use uncommon or advanced words you may not know. They want to see how well you can work out information from context. Quite often, there are definitions of some words. These often appear in the following sentence. Here's an example. Patients with osteoporosis are at a higher risk of fractures due to the weakening of their bones. This condition results from a loss of bone density, often caused by aging, poor nutrition, or lack of physical activity. So, don't worry if you don't know what osteoporosis is. The definition is there in the second sentence. Words that are more technical or specific to the topic are often explained, so don't panic if you see such complex technical terms in the passages. In other cases, the definition is in the same sentence, like this. Patients with osteoporosis, a condition that leads to a loss of bone density, are at a higher risk of fractures due to the weakening of their bones. A fantastic tip for boosting your score in IELTS reading is to check your answers immediately. I always do this when taking the test. Many websites tell you to check your answers at the end of the test, but this is hugely dependent on whether or not you have enough time left. The test is stressful and time is very tight, so many test takers actually don't have time left over at the end and therefore can't check their answers. This is why it's useful to check your answer when you type or write it down. Specifically, you should pay attention to two things. First, check your spelling. Answers that are spelled incorrectly get no points. Second, check whether you have written your answer in the correct field. If you accidentally get them in the wrong order, you won't get any points, even if your answers are correct. They need to be written or typed in the correct place. Tip number 9 is one of the most important ones. Lots of IELTS candidates make the mistake of not answering hard questions. Don't do this. It takes away your chance of getting a high score. If you don't know the answer, make a guess. If the answer is incorrect, you won't lose any points. So it's always worth guessing, as what you write may end up being correct. My final tip is to remember that, with the exception of a few question types, the questions are usually in the same order as the text. What I mean by that is the answer to question 1 will be found in the text before the answer to question 2. This can help you identify roughly the place in the passage where the answer can be found. Also, if you have found one answer that you are sure of, you know that the answer to the next question will be at some point in the passage after this. That's it! That's 10 top tips to improve your IELTS reading score quickly. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe and click the bell icon so you're notified when the next video comes out. Also, share this video with your friends so they can improve their IELTS score too. See you in the next video!